everybody, my name is Sherry. Welcome to my stamp studio. I'm going to whip out a real quick weekend card for you. I've kind of gotten the habit recently of doing a fairly quick but fun card for the weekends. You know, I don't know how to put this. I'm a fan of simple stamping, but I don't do a lot of it myself. I like to do cards that have a tiny bit of a wow factor, no matter how long they take to make. And I've just finished up my spring online mini retreat, and those cards took longer. All of the videos took longer. We did some of the cards at my in-person camp today that I had done at the mini retreat. So we did fewer cards because they did take longer. They used embossing paste, so they were a little bit on the messy side, but they were tons of fun. I fell back in love with embossing paste, and I hope that those of you that took the retreat did as well. But one of the things that I did do in that retreat was I used different inks with different stamps for different purposes. And so we did at camp as well. And it is raining here in Indianapolis today. And so when you live in a climate where the weather can affect what inks and what tools we choose, I have decided that probably won't be this week because I have a super busy week. It is our demonstrator event, and the CEO of Stampin' Up! Is going to be spending time with us at our event coming up this weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. So I have lots of stuff I'm going to be doing, but I am going to work on some things that you'll have to pay attention, because there are things that you can do if you use the wrong product with the wrong stamp or mix the wrong things, you can ruin products. So I always tend to use stuff that's safe. But I'm going to make a little chart, and I'll figure out a way to get it to those of you who pay attention in the videos. So I know it will also help those of you that took the retreat kind of figure out what you want to do. But today I'm going to do another card in this little series. It's going to be probably the last, so a little 2-card series. But I'm going to use this new foil, and I don't remember what it's called. Naturally Gilded. There, I got it. How's that for pulling it out from nowhere? So I did this one the other day. This one has soft suede and Pretty Peacock, which if you watch this video, Pretty Peacock isn't a color right now. It has been in the past, and I think it's making a return. So we'll have more information around March 29th. I should be able to tell you a little bit more. So this card's up. And in this card, I explained a little bit more about our online exclusives. This is an online exclusive. So as the name implies, you won't see it in a catalog, but you can find it on my website. And on my blog, I will always link back to the products on my website. So there'll be a little link there and you can go find it. I am getting ready to showcase, in this one, I'm going to show, and I don't know the name, something borders. Let me see if I have the case still laying here. Oh, I do. Look at this. It's like a magic day. The elegant border dies. I'm going to use those. And then I think that the rhinoceroses are the last thing. And I am going to use those to kind of start bridging the gap of use this, not that. But because I can make those work with that. And then I think I will have hit, oh, no, there's the alphabet, the monogram, did you live in the 80s? Because if you did, you had this monogram stamp set. I'm going to use that. So I'm going to use this on the card I made the other day. I used the golden vanilla piece. Then we have this, is it winter time? Silver and white. And then today I'm going to use the copper and white. My preference would be that they all had a vanilla background because I love when we have vanilla. But this has a white, and I'm going to show you how to make that work. And it's not that I don't love white, it's just very stark. And so I want to kind of tone this whole card down. It's easier to tone down when you're starting with vanilla. Then I'm also going to use Dainty Delight. Part of the reason I'm using this is because I had it, and I didn't use it hardly at all. And then when it went on back order, it's back. As is today, I saw the Bumblebee is back. The Queen Bee set is back. If you've been waiting for the seal refills, they're back. The Hello Irresistible Paper is back. A bunch of stuff has come back. So if you've been waiting on stuff, I am happy to check for it for you. Just email me and let me know, and I can tell you. And if it's not back, I can give you Stampin' Up's estimated date of when it will be back. Bunch of stuff is back. The Easter Bunny Punch is not back, and it will not be back before Easter. But a lot of stuff is. So that is what I also used on the other card. So let's get going. And you know, my cat, nobody told my little sweet kitten that such a thing as daylight saving time exists. So bless her little heart. She thinks that when it is 6 o'clock, it's time to get up. Nope, she doesn't know that it's 5 o'clock. So she keeps waking me up. So I guess it was yesterday morning, she woke me up. And so as I was laying there and unable to fall back asleep, because you know my body still believes that it's time to get up too, I kept thinking, I wish that copper paper, we had copper embossing powder. And then I thought, do we have copper embossing powder? What's the other metallic in our metallic embossing powders? We have gold and silver, and there's a third, and yes, we do. I just hadn't used it for a while, and the copper is my favorite. I love copper. I could have all of my jewelry be copper. So I couldn't get up then and check, because if I got up then and checked, then my baby kitten would think, oh, see, now she knows that it really is time to get up. So I'm going to take this and I am going to stamp in my Versamark, and I just pulled out one of the smaller little bouquets of flowers that's in this set. And I'm going to stamp that in Versamark. And then this is one of the brushed golds, but it has a copper feel to it. We don't have copper foil right now, but this most certainly has a feel of copper to it. And I'm going to just pull one of the sentiments out. I think this one says the best is yet to come. So a good retirement, a good wedding, a good shower, graduation. And then this is from our Metallics Embossing Trio. Our embossing powders currently come in a set of 3. I don't want to tell you that they do because, as you know, our last chance list comes out on March 29th, and our new catalog comes out in April. If you need a catalog, if you don't have a demonstrator sending you a catalog, I'm happy to send you your first one at no charge. And then after that, if you buy something from me, and this time it's if you've bought anything $50 in merchandise from me since the beginning of November of 2022, then I will send you one at no cost. I'm happy to send you your first one at no cost, so you can kind of see what it has in it. But they could reconfigure, so I don't want to tell you that that's how our embossing powders come, and then have you watch this after you get the new catalog and be like, wait a second, because stuff can change. But sometimes we sell them in a stack, sometimes we sell them individually. And this is our embossing additions toolkit. I love it. As you can see, I already had powder in it. So if you need a catalog and you haven't gotten one, just let me know. If you have placed an order, you don't need to do anything. I will automatically send you one sometime in April. If you order from me in March, then you will be one of the first people to get one from me, because I will ship those with your March thank you gifts that come from me. So when you use a host code and you order from me, then you get a thank you gift. And the catalogs in April will go with your thank you gifts. So those are the first ones that I send out. It's a huge job to mail the catalogs. They don't all go at one time. So I kind of space them out. So we have this. This is done. And then I'm going to take the Elegant Border dies, which are an online exclusive. And I am just going to use this one. There's several. There's 4, maybe 5. I haven't really had a chance to use them. I'll show you another one that I have trimmed out because I've been super busy. And sometimes when things aren't just our normal kind of, I'm going to lay this on here and it does this, like these take a little bit of figuring out. And so I got them out when I first got them and I thought, oh, I'll use these. And then I realized, yeah, it's going to take me a minute to figure out how to use them. So here's the one I'm using today, cut out of black cardstock. And then here's another one of them, but you see it scallops and they don't just fall out when you cut them. So that day I was really busy and I'm like, I'm going to lay those aside and I'll come back to them later. So here's the later for this one, but then there's other shapes that I didn't even take out of their thing. Let's color this in. I'm going to use one of my favorite coloring methods, and I'm going to use a Wink of Stella, which I think are either on low inventory or on back order. And I'm going to use ink pad. So let's start with our lightest colors. I went with a fun, these look pretty with copper color combination. So let's start with Pumpkin Pie, which is kind of an orange tinge. I'm just going to grab some orange and give one little swoop through my flowers. And I'm going to start, so some of them are more orange, and then as my ink runs out, then I'll grab more. That way they'll all be orange, but some of them will be more orange than others. That was a leaf. 'Cause that's what happens sometimes when you're talking and coloring at the same time. So that's enough of the pumpkin pie. This colors in so quickly, but it really is a really pretty and stunning little set of flowers here. And now I have Calypso Coral. And now I'm just going to kind of add some highlights of coral. The good thing is down there where I put a little bit of pumpkin pie on a leaf, I'm going to color my leaves in evergreen, and that's a nice strong green. So I'll start there and cover that right up. I almost did it again though with my coral. I'll take a close-up picture of the coloring and put it on my website. So you can see that now. Just get rid of that, especially because I'm going to try to cover that up. I don't want any additional orange in my design. So I have evergreen. Now this is a retiring in color. Every year, you know, we have in colors that last for 2 years. This is at the end of its 2-year run. So we're having a color refresh, which happens every 3 to 5 years, and it's been 5 years. So it was time. There was no doubt in our mind that we were going to get a color refresh. So the colors could, they'll swap some old colors out that aren't popular anymore, that just aren't very trendy. See, we're going to color that right up. Nobody will ever know that I put some orange underneath there. I'm going to do the same thing and go from that dark to light as it runs out of ink. So evergreen may end up popping in as they take out a color. We just don't know which ones are staying, which one are going. They could add some new colors. So a color refresh just kind of means they update the colors. But if they don't, if evergreen doesn't make it into the 48 standard colors that we have, it'll be gone. So there's no way that all 5 of the current outgoing in colors will make it. So I highly suggest that right now, before everybody else has the same idea, that you go get the color refills and or a packet of cardstock of the ones that you are in love with, because they will sell out. Here we go. Hopefully it's a gray day outside. It's a gray spring day here, but hopefully you can see how shimmery and beautiful that is. And it's really pretty color combination with that copper embossing powder. Just let that dry a second. And while that's drying, I am going to grab this and see, it's just dark. This will get lost even if I cut it out. It's a lot of white. So I'm just going to tone this down and I'm going to make it beautiful. So again, we're going to start with our lightest color, which is the pumpkin pie. And I don't want to make, what's going to happen if you put too much of these colors, it's going to look like you have a card that's ready for October. I don't want October. I want it to be a card that's ready for March or spring. So we want these colors, but we're going to go light on them. So first, add the color and kind of cover up the white. So instead of pumpkin pie, we kind of have a peach. And peach is a nice spring color, right? So cover it up, and by controlling how much you have on there, we've gone from pumpkin pie to more of a peach or a papaya. And then I'm going to kind of dig into my pad right there and get a bunch of pumpkin pie. Just right here, give it more of a sunset, sunrise pumpkin. But the rest of it, I'm going to let just be that really light color. And just get that extra off. I just put that really solid color of it right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing with Calypso. And when you go light on it, you're going to get more of a pink, a reddish pink. It's not that dark fall Calypso color. I'm not ready for fall. I'm not going to skip spring, and I'm most certainly not going to skip summer. So let's just make it be that really pretty pink. And these colors then go with spring, and they go with the copper. I'm going to dig that in, and that just picks up a little bit of it. And we'll keep it right here in that sunset kind of spot. Just pull it out. And then let's grab some evergreen. And it doesn't matter so much. It's going to be the green that's coming because of all the rain that we have out there. But I don't want it to look like Christmas, so we'll keep it on the lighter of the evergreen. And then again, just kind of get a little bit darker. And just gives it a nice little bit of contrast. But overall, it's still a light design. And then I'm going to take this ribbon, which is called Rose Gold and White. And I need about as long as the card. And at first, I'm just going to kind of clean off my brush. You may not have to put any more ink on it at all. We're good on the evergreen. Let's see if I need to get any more of the oranges. Okay, it looks like it has a lot of pumpkin pie on it. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit of Calypso. So it has a little bit of red right there in the middle. I was trying to keep my hands clean, but you know, I've been doing some dirty stamping recently, just making a mess. Okay, I'm going to cut this out of my die cut machine. I'm going to cut this out. And these are both out of the Dainty dies. And then I'm going to cut this out of another piece of the copper, and this is also out of the Dainty dies. Just pull my machine over and do that. All right, so we have all of our pieces. I don't know if it's because it is St. Patrick's Day today, and I posted a bunch of pictures of Ireland, but this kind of has that Irish scrolly look to it. So you can see, remember how I told you that I ran those through on a day that I was busy, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing these right now because it doesn't cut a border. But that's okay. I am just going to trim this out. Just like this. And you can see that not everything has popped up, but it is also longer. I cut this 4 by 5 1/4, and it's longer than what we need. So just get all these popped out of here. It's foil, so you know it isn't going to fall out magically on its own because that second coating of the paper kind of grabs it. Okay, here's a color that is not on our card. I matched it up with some of the other colors. You can try it with the pumpkin pie. It makes it a little brighter than I wanted. You can try it with the coral, again, a little bit brighter. You could do it with the papaya, maybe a little bit more of the spring colors. But I know from my friend who has a wedding barn that Cajun Craze and Peacock are kind of the wedding colors of the year. So I thought this isn't quite Peacock. It's a little bit more subtle, but this is the Cajun Craze, which is, again, wedding colors that are kind of on trend right now. So I thought this would make a really pretty wedding card for the colors that are kind of in style. So I've added my adhesive there, and then go ahead and put your border here. And see, it's longer, and we're just going to trim that down. Now take your ribbon. I'm going to do one more little strip of my adhesive here. And then our ribbon that we've made custom colored to match our card, which again, if you know a bride and you know her colors, you can make this to match exactly her wedding. And nothing makes her more happy than her feeling like you took the time to know exactly what her wedding was. And then just flip this over. It's easier, I think, to do from this side because then you can see what you're cutting and what you're not. Trim that. Flip this over. And trim this here. Isn't it pretty? All shimmery and shiny. And I don't think it looks too fall. I think if you want it to, if it gets to be September and you're doing a fall wedding card, which I have a bunch of weddings coming up this fall, just do more this and then leave these, a little bit of these as the light highlights. And I think it takes it then right into fall. And then maybe add maybe a tiny bit of brown or go a little bit darker on the green. And then take a little bit of this, because we always like to have a little bit of fluff behind our flowers. Cut off both sides of the selvage. I think it's easier to just get rid of both because this ribbon's pretty thin when you start pulling it apart. There's nothing I like more than to deconstruct some ribbon. And this rose gold, when you pull it apart, is really pretty. So have this, then go ahead and get your place on your card where you're going to put the ribbon. So that way you can just lay it here. So I have that. And see, especially where that gold is. But it just kind of gives a nice airy feeling behind where we're going to put our flowers. Just kind of lay it in it. And let it kind of spray out behind them. Just press it into it. And you don't want it to be even, so do some high, do some low. The first time I did this, I had sponged this part. It didn't make a difference. It wasn't worth the time, and it got my fingers all dirty because this was dyed and it was coming off on my fingers. But once it was like this, it was really hard to tell. You could see a little bit of the green, but it wasn't worth the amount of time that it took. So I have that. I'm going to take this. Make sure these are all kind of as much touching a little bit of that adhesive as you can, but kind of smush them together, group them together right there. And there's two places on this particular flower. Several of the designs in this pack, in this stamp set would work for this. But this one has these two. And so once you put these on here, then go back down here to where this is and kind of, oops. Before you do that, get your flower out. I almost forgot to add this. It's like a Queen Anne's lace. There's just one more little bit of shimmery copper in there. And now this will hold all this in place. And if you feel like anything's moving around and it's not going to stay, then just take your fine tip glue and kind of drip some in there, and now everything's sandwiched in this one little area. So you'll be good. Get your little sentiment. And if you don't want one of the ones in here, if you are doing it for a wedding and you want a legit wedding sentiment, then just emboss something else in copper, because that's really pretty. Put this on here. This card made a mess between the ribbon and all those die cuts. We'll just get it out of the way. So pretty. And then I debated, I thought about putting the gold butterflies on, but I really just wanted to stick kind of to that kind of rose gold kind of copper theme. So I got the champagne rhinestones. I feel like they're kind of, you know, we've had champagne rhinestones for a long time. This and the basic pearls, I feel like, and the red rhinestones, they've been in the catalog for a hot minute. And every year I'm like, they're probably going to be gone. So maybe this is the year. But they're just a classic, and they match so well with so many things because they're champagne. And this card isn't really champagne. My proper tools are still downstairs from my camp this morning. But these will work. In fact, we've had champagne rhinestones so long, I'm pretty sure we had them before we ever had a proper tool to pull these things off of here. I'm going to do 5. because they're perfect with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We just need one more. Maybe. This is what happens when you don't have your proper tool. You chase them around the card. And there you go. Here, wait. I gotta move it around in the light. Move all the trash off my table away. I mean, you have this going on over here with the shimmer. You've got the pretty border with the shimmer. You got the shimmer paint. You got the gold back here. And here's the other one. It's just a really pretty card. There you go. I will have the supplies down underneath to order it. You guys, I am this close to earning the Stampin' Up! Trip for this year. So I want to do it in March and I'm literally this close. So any order you place in March is going to help me to be this much closer to getting it. So I appreciate all of your orders. Everybody have a great weekend and I will catch you back here later. Bye.